Hi there, my name is Nick Price. I am the CEO of Bright Purple, a technology recruitment company. We're celebrating our 30th year's anniversary this year, and we've decided to run some sessions with people who've been in our lives over those 30 years and talk about the changes in technology and the things that are affecting our customers today. My first guest is a very old friend of mine, David Gardiner. He's a industry veteran from the knowledge management world and has been heavily involved in AI. And as AI is the topic on everybody's tongue today, it seems, Dave's come up with a framework that he's developed for the adoption of AI and the implementation of AI. And we're going to use this session to talk loosely about the framework. And then we're going to follow it up with some more in-depth sessions where we talk about the A's that he's going to talk about today. Dave, over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Nick, and very much a pleasure to support your 30th anniversary sessions.
Thanks.
Let's get to the chase. I've been a knowledge management accredited practitioner for over 25 years. And in my world of KM practitioners, we see AI as the big game changer. But let me talk about the last 18 months because that has been complete immersion in AI and what I've discovered in those times, working with some of the very large organizations, particularly banks, 100 to 150,000 employees. How do you deploy AI successfully and get the best out of that AI journey and make sure that the users are consistently using it, sharing ideas, and building on top of the value that AI can actually bring?
Sounds like a bit of a minefield situation, to be honest, because to me, I think it's overwhelming. So I'm interested to hear how this framework that you've developed is going to work. So over
Yeah,
to you.
just before we get into the framework, I think the two things that I have experienced is number one, first, organizations need to set out their outcomes or desires, have a bit of pre-thought about why and how AI is going to help. Too many times have I gone into organizations, asked people about it, and they said, well, we've been just told we've got to use it, and that's not good enough. The second part then is communicate from the leadership down the way why it's important to introduce the AI correctly, robustly, safely, and securely. I very much worked with Microsoft Copilot in many of these situations, and that is implemented in lots of your companies now, whether they're 50 users or 50,000 users, it doesn't matter. The impacts will be the same if you don't know why you're doing it.
So basically, what? Too much information, not enough clarity on getting things right?
Absolutely. And, the biggest thing for me, Nick, is and what my realization was after about 12 months was the word artificial in artificial intelligence is incorrect. And that has been leading for me to confusion. It's not artificial, it's real intelligence that has been surfaced from a massive amount of content, which has never been able to be done before. We're using technology now that can search content, information, people, and surface real value. Always needs to be checked, but it's doing the work very, very rapidly. So let me talk about the 5 A's.
Hmm.
So the first one, the one that I think most organizations are looking for is what I would to replace artificial with augmented. It's augmented intelligence. And this is where AI can surface content that helps get your tasks done, completed better and quicker than they would normally be in a normal day's work. An example of that might be producing a report for an executive briefing. You have to go off, you speak to people, you're searching a lot of contents. Now you can just ask AI and it will surface that content to you in a matter of seconds. The second one is assistant intelligence. So I need AI to help me do things that I normally do much faster, better, and smarter. And a great example of that is taking notes in a meeting. So instead of us having to focus on writing down notes or otherwise, AI takes a transcript. It will summarize the meeting's main points. It will even identify actions. And even before the meeting's finished, it's distributed that content to everyone who attended, and even people who didn't attend but were registered as to be attending. So everyone gets that intelligence very quickly.
Right.
The third one is automated intelligence. This is the one that's been in our lives for many, many years. It's things like grass cutting robots or automated hoovers that go, you set it off and it goes and hoovers your whole house. You come home for work, it's done. That again is an element of artificial intelligence. Very quickly, if you've ever seen the film The Creator, the whole concept of a combined human robot existing called a symbiont, according to Stanford and Harvard universities, that reality is near future. So we have to be cognizant of intelligence and AI being part of our lives in the very near future. Moving on to number 4, it's accountable intelligence. This is where we get AI in the environment to actually tell us how well AI is performing. So once you've invested, you've trained people, they're using AI, you're a few months into your project, most executives want to know, well, are we getting the results we're looking for, or is it all just hearsay? AI can gather all that feedback. It can assess what's happening in terms of people's lives, pull that together and start to report back. So you're using AI as a component of business health and value return from the AI investment. And finally, the one which is most important and the most relevant is what I call advanced intelligence. You'll hear the words agentic and agents, and these are ways of implementing AI into a particular process. The biggest, in the projects that I ran, the biggest single return of investment came when we implemented the AI technology to take ownership of aspects of workflow, of a process activity that human beings were doing before. Agentic above agents is where not only is it doing the work, but every time it does that work, it learns and adjusts and does it even better the next time it runs that particular process. So you could imagine how important and how valuable that will be going forward.
We so also need to just... Are you suggesting a methodical approach to this rather than just jumping into a project? You're basically saying you need a methodical, structured framework, which I imagine then will reduce failure, improve impact.
Absolutely. When you think about it, if I say to you, we're going to implement AI, what's your first thoughts? Well, what does that mean? What are you going to get from implementing AI? No, what we want to do is augment people's lives. We want to assist in the way that the day in the life of an individual operates. We want to automate things. We want accountability. We want advancement in the way that activity happens. We want to reduce the time a process takes. So you have to be very clear. And the structure I would use is like a slider model. So in that readiness process, think of these 5 things and think of moving your slider, how much augmented or assistant, and that will change over time. So as months go by and you get the feedback, you can say, yeah, we need more augmented. We're going to focus more on that. And when I say focus more, you have to adjust your training, your education, and the intel from the people that are actually implementing it. And just one last thing, we also need to be aware constantly of the other manifestations of AI, which are absurd intelligence, apologies for intelligence, arbitrary intelligence, because these do pop up, and these are the ones that actually impact negatively on people's perceptions of AI. This intelligence doesn't work for me. This is nonsense. That's not real. What it usually is that they're not asking the right questions of AI. So that's where you've got to invest very much in adoption and readiness to get the value from AI.
So what do you think in closing, what do you think the asks are? What would you say?
Very simply, number 1, try and think about what is the objective? What's the business outcome you want to achieve? The why in the whole equation. Secondly, conduct a readiness assessment. Where are we going to prioritize? Where are we going to implement? Set out your 5 sliders and start to think about and tell people, communicate that to the people. We want to augment, we want to assist, we're going to put some agents in and make sure they understand the reasoning behind your decisions. And the number one biggest thing that will get you fast to valued outcomes is adoption. Very quickly in the KM worlds, we have a thing called a competency matrix. And in any 100 people in your company, some of them just don't want to do anything other than use the tools that they're given to get a job done. They're at the 1. So if you think of it as 1 to 5, you want to move them from basic users every day to advanced users, those that are actually thinking about the prompts and want to share ideas. Then you've got the champions, those that are really wanting to invest and start to create communities. You've then got thought leaders, those that are actually thinking about the wider context of AI within your organization. And in some instances, you're going to find experts. And we need to define how do we move people up those different competency levels and start to leverage the value that we're investing in them.
Excellent. Excited to hear about the new model. And over the coming sessions, we'll go into the A's in a little bit more depth. So I hope those listening enjoyed the launch of this series with Dave talking about putting the A's into AI. We'll start with Augmented and Assistant in the next session. I'm Nick Price, and as always, privileged to talk to my friend Dave over the topic of how we can look at these many A's that we'll encounter on our AI journeys. And until the next time, we'll see you on the next session. Dave, thanks very much for your time.
No, thank you, Nick, and everyone, good luck with your AI journey, and we'll look forward to hearing from you.
Take care.
Bye now.